Let's do your over-unders. I keep wanting to say win totals to freak you out here. We got the over-unders for every team in the AFC.
Where we start, in AFC East?
And let's go through them. Yep, let's do the AFC East. So, and let's just start top to bottom. Let's go from Patriots. 12-4 last year. Their over-under is 9.5. For the first time since 2001, they're going to start a season without TB12 as their starting quarterback. 9.5 for the Patriots.
Ooh, wow.
Lost 8 players to opt-outs.
8 players to opt-outs.
Lost Kyle Van Noy.
Have the hardest schedule in football, or it's one of the hardest. I know that. 9-5 is it's right around that range. To me, I envision it. I'm going to say over.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a 10-6 type of season. That's what I mean, that's a perfect number. I think you'll have a few weeks here and there where, yeah, things are sluggish or they don't execute the right way. But I'm expecting the Patriots to be like one of those teams where, you know, yeah, they had some moments of not looking good early, had a few games where we went, whoa, this looks really good, and it all starts to come together in December where we start to get towards playoff time and go, oh, crap. Cam Newton and Billy Boy might have something going here. They might have finally found the formula and everything like that. So, I'm not counting the Patriots out of this mix yet.
And it's hard to count them out, right? A team that's won the division that many years in a row, and you feel like they'll just figure out a way to do it. And Cam might be. I mean, this could be a great story for Cam, coming back this year and being that resurgent quarterback that they need coming into Tom Brady's old stomping ground. But does he have enough around him? And we're going to do a video after we're done here where we look at Josh McDaniels and what he may be able to scheme up with that offense.
Right.
I mean, does he have enough around him, or will he have to be like that Cam from old where it's just like he takes the game on his own shoulders and brings him to a win?
I think there's enough around him. I think, we're going to have to rely on the guys like N'Keal Harry to, like, show up as a first-round pick from last year's draft to be, like, part of the offense. Yeah, but I think, the biggest thing is he's going to be with a coaching staff that understands how to give a schematical advantage all the time. And I think that's going to be really refreshing for him. I expect the offensive line to be better. They need Sony Michel to be, hitting close to 100%. But, yeah, when you talk to me about, Edelman and N'Keal Harry, Damiere Byrd, Marquise Lee opted out. Who's the other receiver I'm missing up? I got to pull up their roster real quick. It's driving me crazy. Hold on.
Pull up the team.
But, yeah, there's enough there to me to where I look at it and go, they should be fine. Oh, Mohamed Sanu, that was the guy I'm missing. Right. So when I look at it from that standpoint, and you've heard me talk a little bit, Edelman and N'Keal Harry, Sanu, man, interchangeable guys, all can run speed sweeps, quarterback passes, run over the middle, catch physical balls, a lot of by committee approach that I think is very effective.
Prop bet, who has more passing yards this year, Cam or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect it to be that.
That's a slam dunk.
Yeah, and especially, we just talked about question marks with the passing help around Cam. There's no question marks with that in Tampa, added to the fact that the question mark in Tampa is the run game. So that's just going to me, add to more passing and more yards like that for him.
I'm going to go under just because I feel like you lose enough players at a certain point, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
And they've lost enough in free agency and the opt-outs, and if Cam's not a fit, I feel like there's more downside risk for the Patriots than upside risk.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'd go under.
My biggest concern with all their opt-outs is just Dante Hightower. That's really the only one I look at.
Patrick Chung.
Yeah, I could deal with that.
Yeah.
They have a ton of safeties, and Patrick Chung is as much as I love him, is not a special player anymore. He's special brains player, no. So I look at that, and then maybe Marcus Cannon, who opted out. As the two positions where I just go Hightower and Mark, where I go, ooh, that hurt them. Everything else I still think is very manageable.
Okay, so you go over 9.5, I go under. Bills, a lot of people think the Bills, this is their year to finally pass the Patriots. They were 10-6 last year. Their over and under is 8.5.
Oh, went down. Well, that's easy for me. I'm going over there.
Yeah, I am too.
I could see them both, the Bills and the Patriots, both being 10-6 and going to tiebreakers or head-to-head matchups as far as who wins that game and things like that. But, I expect this Bills team, the roster, everything I like about it. I mean, there's nothing not to like about it. And then I think my one question with them was, you've heard me say as a starting running back, them with Zach Moss and Singletary together. I mean, I just like it. I'm very bullish on the Bulls.
So
Bills.
they added Stephon Diggs to the offense this year. The defense, I mean, the question in the past for the Bills is the defense good enough to carry them?
Yeah. I don't think you have to worry about that.
You don't have to worry about this year. You think Josh Allen takes the next step. You think he and Stephon Diggs, they help each other, and that offense can actually win games for him and not just prevent them from losing.
I think so. I think that's what I expect is, the run game's not working today. Okay, fine. Josh Allen and the offense, they'll throw the ball over the field and be fine. I just think, between that and they have a very good, young, really potentially dominant offensive line. And if they can kind of take the next step this year with Josh Allen, I go, ooh, shit, watch out for this group.
Okay. They added some guys on defense that Sean McDermott knew from over in his days in Carolina.
Phenomenal. Like
Vernon Butler, Mario Addison.
Great signings by them. Great. Those are like such under-the-radar good signings. Who else? Anybody else we're missing in there in free agency that jumped out to you as far as names?
They are a couple there. I didn't write them down.
Yeah, I got them here in front of you. Mario Addison, you said that. Vernon Butler. Oh, Quentin Jefferson.
Yeah.
From the Seahawks, another just big to play defensive tackle or defensive end. They're growing on trees there. And then Josh Norman, they got him too to help out the secondary a little bit
right now, but
they're playing chess up there in Buffalo the last few years. I like what they're doing.
I like Sean McDermott. Seems like a good dude, and I like what they got going here. An emphatic over. Over.
Yeah, that was way 8-5.
8.5 emphatic over.
Seems low to me.
All right, so Jets. We got the Jets now. 7-9 last year. Their over/under went down. 6.5. They've lost a lot, right? Jamal Adams, they lost in the trade. C.J. Mosley opted out. So defense, which was the second best defense against the rush last year, they got holes this year. I don't know. They did try to bolster the offensive line, right? Re-sign Alex Lewis. They got George Fant, Connor McGovern, Mekhi Becton they drafted.
They've restructured it,
Trying to give Sam Darnold some protection. But 6.5.
Man. It's good. It's right with it. I'm going to probably go under here, though. I mean, that's where, to me, I look at them and go 7-9, 6-10. And if you're going to make me pick, I'm going to pick 6-10, especially with the way the year starts out. The fact that they got to go to Buffalo, the 49ers come here to New York, and then they got to go to the Indianapolis Colts. That's a pretty tough first 3 games, let alone the Broncos are the week after that. Where I just worry about the Jets, it's very easy. In a league where, passing and coverage is an issue, they don't have a shutdown corner, nor do they have a receiver that I look at as a game breaker yet. Now, the offensive line will be improved, but we got to also see where the running backs are at. I mean, I haven't seen Le'Veon Bell be worth a damn in 2 years. So
he took a rep with the second team. Did you see that?
Yeah. So there's right. So I mean, Frank Gore, and I love Frank Gore too. But I mean, I'm not sitting here like, oh, I'm so excited to see Frank Gore in year 74 with the Jets. Like, I got the questions there. I just don't know.
So if it all falls apart for the Jets this year, everyone's going to blame Sam Darnold and say they got to go get Trevor Lawrence.
It sounds like everyone's going to blame Sam Darnold and Adam Gase. And I just want to say this is year 1 of a rebuild right now. And I think they've taken some major steps in the right direction. I think they're like one of those teams, 6-10, pain in the ass for a lot of teams, and probably lose like 2 or 3 heartbreakers. But that's kind of how I envision it.
I'm going to go under as well. You made a good case.
All right, thank you.
You convinced me.
Okay.
Last team.
It's a tough one, though.
That is a tough one.
It is.
But I think, like the Patriots, I think there's more downside risk, right? It seems like there are scenarios you can picture in your mind, maybe because they're the Jets, of how it all falls apart.
You're right.
And they don't get close to 6.5.
Doubt.
Dolphins, it almost all fell apart last year.
Yeah.
But they were able to finish strong. They were 5-11 last year. They spent some money on defense. They got the Cowboys' Byron Jones there. They got a great secondary, right? Xavier Howard, and then they drafted Noah Igbenogany.
Yeah, from TCU, right?
Did I get that? Did I do that right?
Yeah, it's TCU, right? Is it TCU?
Auburn.
That's Auburn. Sorry, yes. Thinking about Minnesota.
Last year they were last in the NFL in sack percentage, but perhaps they can have some coverage sacks this year because of that great secondary.
Yep.
All right, so their number is 6.5. 6.5, that's a healthy, because I mean last year we wouldn't have been surprised if they won 2 games, 3 games. They won 5. Now they're over under 6.5. Oof, it's kind of high. I like them, but it's kind of high.
I tend to want to go over here too.
Oh, you want to go over this?
I mean under. Excuse me. No, under. I want to go under. I tend to want to go under here. Yeah, I don't. I just don't know if I really feel like they're ready for prime time quite yet. There's a lot to like about them. Fitzpatrick, as streaky as he is, the Shangaley hiring, I got to see how that goes. I did not love that. Do I think that defense is going to be damn good and a pain in the ass? Yeah, I think they're going to be a pain in the ass, but I don't know if it's going to be, dominant yet. That's where, they're going to cover some people. Maybe
Do they need to be dominant, though? That offense isn't bad. They can put up some numbers and points.
You're right, but again, I would go, okay, who they're relying on is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's the streakiest quarterback in the history of the sport, Devontae Adams, who has an injury history, and Matt Breida, who has an injury history at running back. So there's some question marks there. I just think between looking at that, I just look at it as a young team with a lot of potential headed in the right direction. A little bit, like the Jets in a lot of ways, where I go, ooh, yeah, they're going to be 6-10. They're going to be a lot of big plays and kind of fun, a pain in the ass, but going to lose some close games. And especially, I think, they're going to lose some other games too, where, okay, we're 3-6, the season's over, let's go with Tua now. And then you're going to lose a game or two with Tua because he's a rookie and getting his feet underneath him, right? I don't expect him to make some run and go 8-0 with Tua or anything like that. So, yeah, that's where I look at it. I go to watch out for the Dolphins in 2021. That's where I would say.
Okay, so you're saying under here.
I am going under.
You're going under
6.5. Man,
because
they're all
it was so tough for you. They are. I mean, Vegas knows what they're doing, don't they?
Shit.
it's like that's every day. You're like, that's a good line. That's about where I'd put it. They don't want to lose money. I'm going to go over. I'm just to disagree with you, and also because I feel like if my prediction on the Patriots kind of falling apart is true, maybe the Dolphins pick up some of those.
I am big, as you know, and anybody that's ever listened to me, on the starting schedule.
Oh, like the momentum out of the gates, first 4 weeks.
So the Dolphins, like the Jets, that's really what scares me. Patriots, Bills, okay, Jaguars, all right, you could beat them, I know that. But then it's Seattle, San Francisco, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Rams. So that's where I just go, ooh, and if you're watching on YouTube right now, there you go. To where, if you sat there and went, ooh, the Dolphins, they got out to a 1-6 start, I'd go, I'm not
after
shocked.
that, it's tough to come back from that.
Yeah, so you might win a few games, but it's hard. It's hard.
All right, I'm sticking with my pick, but that's a great point. That scares me. That makes me feel like I'm immediately wrong. Okay.
Never know.
Okay, let's go to the AFC North. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's start with the Ravens. They were 14-2 last year. They've got a defensive upgrade with Calais Campbell. Got Patrick Queen in the first round of the draft. What a great move. I love Matt Judon. He's like one of my favorite players in the NFL. Got Marcus Peters back there. That defense is stacked. The offense is stacked. They got J.K. Dobbins, who could help that running game as well. There's a lot to like about this team that won 14 games last year, and the over-under this year is 11.5.
Whoa. That's where it's at?
11.5.
I was expecting it to be a higher number and be easier.
So now you think that you're being tricked. It's like it's almost so low that you're like, what am I missing?
I was going to go. I thought you were going to say it's like 13. I thought maybe you'd say 12.5, something like that, where I was just going to go under. I'm going under. I'm going to go under anyways.
Wow.
11-5.
Why?
11. I could see them going to 11-5. One, because I think their division's going to be better. Big Ben's back.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
So you don't get 2 wins against Pittsburgh.
True.
I think Cleveland's going to be the real deal, or at least certainly better, And then Cincinnati, I think, is going to be a pain in the butt too. So I look at it from that. And then my other thing is this, Ahmed. It took the league by storm last year.
Right.
You're crazy if you don't think every team in football, especially the teams that got Baltimore on their schedule, haven't looked at how are we going to defend this Lamar Jackson and this offense this year. So I think teams will be a little bit more ready for it as compared to last year. And I don't know, in my gut or heart, I could see them being like in a Chiefs team. The Chiefs were the #1 seed 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And then, we hit a few blips in the road and we ended up the #2 seed and not as good as the year before, but we won the Super Bowl. I could see the Ravens being that, being the 2 or 3 seed this year and then making a playoff run and getting in the Super Bowl. But I just think between that and, having to play the schedule they have to play this year.
Yeah, Kansas City week 3, at Philly week 6, at New England week 10, Dallas week 13. So, that's what happens. You look at the same thing with Kansas City. I mean, you have a good year the previous season, you're going to have a tougher schedule the next year.
No doubt.
Tough
And
to
you got to go
replicate.
play the AFC South, which is 3 caliber like playoff teams with the Texans, the Colts, and the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, we know how they match up with them.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I even look at the NFC East and go, yeah, I know they're better, but the NFC East, like the Cowboys and the Eagles, they match up good with the Ravens. They're not going to be like overpowered by that team. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I'm looking for just a little bit of a letdown from the Ravens. It's hard to emulate 14-2 2 years in a row, plus some teams being better around them. And, yeah, them probably not being the number 1 seed, but a big pain in the ass and, getting to the playoffs, and they could go to the Super Bowl. I'm just going to go under with the 11.5.
Prop bet, Lamar Jackson had 1,206 rushing yards last year. Does he go over or under that this year?
If he gets to that this year, he's either just broken some long runs where I go, whoa, the guy's unreal.
You think they will want to run him less?
No, yes, definitely. And then why wouldn't you when you have J.K. Dobbins in the mix now?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Lamar should just be the ultimate decoy and the ultimate, here's 8 or 9 rushes a game, and whoa, he had 8 or 9 rushes for 80-something yards. Like, that would be something I could see happening.
I'm going over.
Over.
You've lost faith in the Ravens, 11.5. I'm going over. I still have faith in Lamar Jackson. Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, that's a tough one. I was expecting a higher number there. I did not think it.
See, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping is that you expected a higher number. You were planning to go under. So even when the number was low, you still had to. You were boxed in. You couldn't get out. But you made good reasons there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Valid point. Steelers, 8-8 last year. Of course, they did it basically without Big Ben Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges were the backups. They're still the backups now. Got some good skill guys. You got defense with stars. I mean, I was looking at this defense last year.
Right.
And I think at the time, I mean, you obviously knew it, but I don't know, the casual fan knew how dominant that defense was. It was just the offense was so bad that we almost dismissed it. I was looking at some of it. They were 3rd in yards per play last year, 1st in the NFL in sacks per pass attempt last year, 2nd in interceptions per pass attempt last year, 1st in quarterback pressures, 5th best in goal-to-goal situations. I mean, like basically every category you looked at,
They're top.
they were good.
Yeah.
So their number this year is 9.5. Before I hear yours, I'm going over. I'm just immediately going over because I think Big Ben comes back. That defense is already great. 9.5, I say over. What you say?
I'm going with you. I am too. I expect Pittsburgh to be one of those teams who didn't make the playoffs last year that makes the playoffs this year. I do. Yeah, and I think, of course, Big Ben's worth, some wins, and if he stays healthy and all of that, But, yeah, Eric Ebron at tight end, 2nd and 3rd year for some younger receivers, like the Deontay Johnsons or the kid from Oklahoma State, Washington. Of course, the Chase Claypool. We've talked all about that. But I think the big thing is the defense.
Yeah.
They don't, to what you're saying, they didn't need much offense. If they just got a little offense last year, I mean.
Well, they were 8-8. I mean,
I know. Who knows
like
where
you
it
go, wait,
goes?
what if Ben gets hurt? Well, he did last year, and they were 8-8.
Right.
So it's like you don't have to. Your imagination doesn't have to run wild to see how they can get 9.5.
No, I mean, they lost to the Jets 16-10. They lost to the Bills 17-10. They lost to the Browns 21-7. I mean, they lost some games. The Ravens in overtime by 3. The 49ers by 4. Where you just go, if Big Ben is out there, I just, at least half of those are wins. And
you think he can come back and be what he was before? These are some injuries they're piling up, right?
They are. He's a beat-up guy.
This was an elbow, right?
Yeah, elbow, torn some ligaments there. Now, 2 years ago, let's not forget how awesome he was. He was awesome 2 years ago. I mean, yards, touchdowns, big-time throws. So, I expect a really good year from Big Ben. I do. I would be shocked. And, I expect Pittsburgh to be a major player in the AFC playoff conversation.
We will have that conversation where you pick your actual playoff teams, division winners.
Next week.
Right. Over. We're both going over for Steelers.
Yeah.
Browns, 6-10 last year. Baker Mayfield was not good. 2nd worst interception percentage in the NFL to Jameis Winston last year was Baker Mayfield, so they turned it over a lot. They did sign Jack Conklin, trying to protect him a little bit more. Austin Hooper, you like him.
I do.
Right? Nick Chubb, we liked him.
Drafted the tackle in the 1st round.
Yeah.
From Alabama.
Yep, that's right. And so you got Kevin Stefanski there now. new eyes.
What's the number at, though?
8.5.
Gosh, damn. Hey, these are hard. This is quite arguably the best division of football this year. I think you're going to be able to make this argument with the NFC West this year. I'm going to go over.
Ooh, I think that's the AFC West, which we're going to do in a little bit later on, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. The NFC West, too. It's hard.
That's true.
I had this conversation. Well, we had this conversation with my dad on the podcast a little Thursday. Just how many damn teams you look at right now and you go, man, there's a lot of good players on every team. So it's 8.5?
8.5 for the Browns, yeah. That seems high.
Gosh.
Doesn't it? Because you want to have faith in the Browns. You want to be like, hey, I think Baker can turn it around. You love Odell. He can have a comeback year.
I could see Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, all at 10-6, 9-7. I would not be shocked. I really wouldn't. And it's why I want to go the over with Cleveland too.
What? Wow.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I look at Cleveland and I think we know the roster is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The only question we had was O-line, really. Okay, that's been fixed. I mean, it should be with the talent they have there. And I really think the scheme and the coaching they have goes in there actually fits their roster better than the last scheme and coaching did. So, you know, like you've probably heard me say, but with Stefanski, the Minnesota scheme, all that, run the ball, boots and play action.
Yeah.
Shit, Baker Mayfield's, he's more gifted than Kirk Cousins in all those areas, let alone he's going to have better talent around him. And arguably a better running back, too. I mean, Nick Chubb's a beast. And then defense, I mean, you defensive line. You kidding me? Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, Myles Garrett, because it's
you don't want to make them mad. You don't want them to come after you.
It's a special front four, you know. So yeah, I'm going with the over there. I could also, I mean, listen, this is we're having fun, whatever.
Yeah.
I could see them being 8-8 and being a 7 seed in the playoffs too. I mean, I with that, but I'm going to go. Yeah, they're 9-7. You know, and let's dissect.
Well, some of this too is you got to, you know, injuries are going to happen to all teams. You can't predict those, right? But part of it is in this year with COVID, you figure some people might test positive. You lose them for a week or two. So I think depth does matter more this year than maybe in years past.
Definitely. And
the fact that you have, you know, a Case Keenum to back up Baker Mayfield. You've always liked Case Keenum there. That mitigates some of that downside risk. And so I can see liking them. You're going to look at the schedule here?
Yeah, I mean, the schedule, Baltimore week 1, not easy. You got the Bengals and then the Washington football team. You know, so
2-1 maybe?
Yeah, they could be 2-1, certainly. I mean, I can sit here right now and go, no, they should beat the Bengals in Washington. Their roster is better. You know, I know it's not that easy always to say.
Yeah.
But you know, after that, it gets a little tough. I mean, you got to go at Dallas Cowboys, Indianapolis Colts, Pittsburgh Steelers. So, hey, this will be a big year for the Cleveland Browns. They're going to see if they're battle-tested and tough to win some of these football games. But I'm going to bet on yes, I am.
They got a new defensive coordinator, Joe Woods, coming over from San Francisco with your boy Kyle. You know anything about him?
I do. I was Joe in Tampa back in the days. Yeah, I know all about Joe. That's why I didn't get there to that, but that's what I mean. I think that his scheme, I think, is going to fit their defense better than what they've run the last few years, too. You know, I think they got a team that's, you know, I don't want to say it's San Francisco, but it's built that way. Some long corners, you know, Carl Joseph, fast safety. Oh, wait, and a front four that we can just send after people all day long. I mean, I'm kind of excited about that aspect of them.
So you're going to go over. I'm going to go under just because I feel like you can never lose money going the under on the Cleveland Browns. But
how far under you think you're, like, going there?
Not that far.
I know.
I think 6-10, what they were last year. I mean, but that does kind of seem like worst case scenario last year, right?
I think so.
Because we were talking about them last year being a potential playoff team. So 6-10 almost was worst case, and so that might be worst case this year again. So I don't know. That's a tough one, but I'll go under.
All right.
Just so we can disagree.
All right, fine.
I got a prop bet on that one.
Yeah.
Odell receiving yards or Nick Chubb rushing yards. Who has more? So Chubb had 1,400 rushing yards last year. Odell has had around 1,400 his first 3 years in New York. Last year was just over 1,000.
Right. They got Kareem Hunt too as a runner. You know, which I would think he's going to get more carries and more work this year. I'm going to go with Odell this year.
Okay, so you think Odell will get a little bit of a bump from what he had last year?
I do.
And Chubb will come down.
I think Chubb will come down, and not because it'll be any less, but I think, you know, what's the point of having two running backs why wear one into the ground? That's what I don't understand. You know, share the workload a little bit, and then when you get done here, you're going to be able to assess a year or two from now and go, okay, which one has a longer shelf life left? Oh, it's Nick Chubb. Okay, see you, Kareem Hunt. We can't pay you. We're going to pay Nick Chubb a little bit more money to be our running back for the next few years, and we didn't kill him.
Right.
Because we shared some carries that way. But, yeah, I mean, gosh.
You like him. That's
I do.
all right.
I do.
You like him.
I like him. I mean, there's things to be excited about. Like we said, that O-line, the 2 tight ends they got more size at deep tackle, so we'll see.
It's like in fantasy football, that post-hype sleeper that you hear about sometimes, where one year it's like everyone's about him, like, he's going to be great, and then they fail, and then everyone's like, they screwed me, and so they forget about him. And it kind of feels like the Cleveland Browns might be like that.
I feel like a little bit like last year was overhyped. Now this year everybody's like totally forgot about them, and I think they're pissed and have an edge about them. And I always think a new coaching staff with a concise plan is worth a few wins, and I do feel that way. As much as I don't love Stefanski's offense, you know, I do think it's actually a good fit for this football team. So, Pete, keep track of all the teams I stay over and under for, right?
He's keeping them in the rundown right
all
here.
All right, because I don't want to get done and you're like, you picked 16 overs.
I think you're pretty, you have, so far you have 4 overs and 3 unders, so you're doing well.
All right, good.
This one's going to be interesting, though. Final team in the AFC North. The Bengals, 2-14 last year.
What is it set at?
5.5.
Oof.
See, 5 wins normally, or 5 wins shouldn't be that hard to get to in the NFL, right? Even bad teams get a couple turnovers here and there. It goes. Bad teams should win 5 games. Offense could be fun.
Offense could be a lot of fun. It really can be. You know, defense is the question.
Defense could be fun for other teams.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You look at Cincinnati, and as I pull up their team here and just like look at everything about them, like, okay, first off, on the defensive side of the ball, hey, got some additions. Trey Wayne's out for the year. Mackenzie Alexander, that's good. Von Bell at safety. Got DJ Reader to help out. My big thing though is like, is there enough difference makers on the defensive side of the ball? That's to where I just don't know. Plus, I'm not like sitting here going, oh, the scheme's special, so they'll be able to figure it out. I think I'm going to go under. I think it's going to be a really exciting 5-11 football team. And again, I'm saying 5. Would I be shocked if they went 6-10? No. Would I be shocked if they went 7-9? Yeah, I'd be starting to get in the shock zone.
Especially in that division.
Yeah, don't think they're there yet. I think they're going to be a lot of like, wow, that was a great game between Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow just came up short. That was a great game by Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield. Joe Burrow just came up short. It was a great game against Ben Roethlisberger. They just came up short. It was fun. A.J. Green bombs and Joe Mixon runs. But, ultimately.
35-28. It was a great game.
I think you could see some of that, definitely.
Because the receiving core, we've talked about it before, is one of the deepest in the NFL.
Right?
A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, T. Higgins, who you liked in the draft.
Yeah.
So, that's
pretty strong.
That's going to be a fun offense to watch.
Erickson, right? They got him at receiver there, too. Number 19, is Erickson in there? He's still in there, right? Is that there? You're not looking at the depth chart?
I'm not at the depth chart.
Oh, okay,
no,
fine.
sorry.
Don't look.
I've got like 2 screens up right here that are.
Yeah,
but
Erickson is there, yeah. Good.
I just checked it.
Good, cool.
Checked it. All right, so you're going
under.
I'll go under as well.
Okay.
I'll go under as well, just because they haven't done the rebrand yet.
I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you did it. They went rebrand.
This will be the final season that will convince them to get rid of the stripes.
There's no way. It's not happening.
I think if it goes south, if it starts to taint Joe Burrow, they'll consider it.
I was at the Combine and interviewed Zach Taylor and brought this up, okay? And there was a member of the Brown family there.
Okay.
Going around that day with Zach Taylor, and I was shot down in a hurry after that.
Immediately
interview.
They were.
No way that's happening. Our helmet's very special to us. So I was led to believe that was not going to happen.
So maybe they need a decade more of losing
to
get to that point. All right, cool. So 2 divisions down, 2 to go here. We got the AFC South, and this one seems like a very even division, except for one team, the Jaguars. Got Texans, Titans, Colts. Don't know who's going to walk away with it. But last year it was the Texans. They were 10-6. They lost DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And they're over-under pretty low. I'm surprised.
Yeah, how low?
7.5.
Ooh.
So 7.5 for a team that won 10 games last year and still has Deshaun Watson.
Hey, I'm not saying playoffs for this team. I'm not saying that. I don't know that yet, but I'm going to go over 7.5. I am.
You think the offense will be better than it was last year?
I do. I'm going to stand by that. I do. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting offense. I think they've gotten it figured out. Yeah, I like the receiving group. The O-line, I like what they got there. And then, of course, running back, we'll see. We'll see what David Johnson's got in the tank and all that. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch here. The big thing is going to be their defense.
Does it come down to the health of J.J. Watt? I mean, it's really that. Because I was looking at his games played last 4 years. You go back 4 years ago, he had 3, then 5, then 16, then 8 last year.
And that year he had 16. He had a good year, right? It was like 16 sacks that year, 16 and a half, something like that.
He's on the field. He's really good. But last year's defense was tied with the Bengals for the worst in yards given up per play.
That's the question. And I know they gave Zach Cunningham a ton of money yesterday, linebacker. That's awesome. He's one of those linebackers he deserves to be paid like that. He's a guy that stays on the field all 3 downs and can do anything, can cover. He's one of the better cover linebackers in football. That's why they paid him that money. So you got that. But yeah, the defense is an issue. J.J. Watt getting hurt would be a big blow to their football team. Tell me, who's a difference maker up front? They lost DJ Reader.
Yeah.
Clowney's been gone. We've talked about the other pass rusher they have from Philadelphia. Holy cow.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the teams.
Yep, I'm pulling up the teams. It's killing me here. Whitney Merciless. Thank you, Pete. Yes. Whitney Merciless. Okay, so him being there, and he's not the same player he was a few years ago. So that's what I do worry about. So 7.5. That's where it's
Ross
at.
Blaylock on.
Liked him a lot.
You did like him in the draft.
Like
they got him in the second round.
He's a disruptor.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
But 7.5, yeah, for a team that won 10 games last year.
I'm going to go over. I think it's. Again, I don't know if they could go 8-8, 9-7, and miss out on the playoffs. I'm not sure if I'm ready to put it in the playoffs yet. I think what I'm saying is the worst I could see it doing is 7-9.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bet that Deshaun wins that one extra game because he's Deshaun freaking Watson, and he'll figure it out.
I'm with you.
It's tough.
I think this is kind of like the Browns, where the hate has gone too far. It was like they've talked about for the last 2 years how Bill O'Brien is a bad GM, but the window is clearly now. They want to win now.
Yes.
And so they've put everything to winning now. And
it's just going to all be about all that offense.
Yeah.
And we're going to see an offense unleashed. That's why week 1 could be a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, them versus the Chiefs, they might actually – the Chiefs might score 51 again like they did in the playoffs, but this time the Texans might score 48. I think they could have a really fun offense to watch.
All right. What about the Tennessee Titans? They had a fun offense to watch down the stretch last year because if you like the running game, went 5-2 down the stretch. They finished the year 9-7. They went 5-2 down the stretch with 188 yards rushing per game. Compare that to their first 7 games. They went 3-4, rushing 102 yards per game. So they turned it on. Playoffs, they beat New England, beat Baltimore, lost to Kansas City in a shootout in a game where they had the lead early. So they really finished strong,
yes,
right?
They
had all the momentum at the end of the year. 9 wins last year. It is 8.5 is the over-under.
Wow.
8.5.
Yeah, see, this was a division where I could see where, they're going to beat each other up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to be a 12-4, an 11-5 type football team. I don't. But wow.
So here, their offense, with Ryan Tannehill here this year, so their offense last year was 12th in yards per game, but 4th in yards per play.
Yeah.
They were 1st in yards per passing play. They just didn't run as many plays as other teams.
No, they did
out
not.
There.
But
so they were efficient. They were super efficient.
Right, that's what we talked about a lot last year, if you remember. He didn't leave any yards on the field.
Yep.
If a guy was open by 3 inches, 60 yards down the field, he threw the ball within that 3-inch window, and they capitalized on it.
They had the best red zone defense or offense in the NFL last year.
Wow.
Scored touchdowns 75% of the time, ahead of Baltimore, who was second.
I'm a little torn with them. I really am. But I think ultimately I got to go over here. I do.
I do too. I think so.
I do. It's just Is the offensive line going to be as good as last year? No, probably not with Jack Conklin being gone.
Right.
I know they
still
drafted
Luan and Saffold and
still a lot of good.
Ben
right.
Jones.
Yeah, that's a lot of damn good. You know, the right tackle position is just going to be a new guy over there. And will be the rookie
Isaiah
from
Wilson?
Georgia.
Isaiah
I don't know if
Wilson.
it'll be him or not. You know, but yes, the running game, the receiver, they got a good under-the-radar tight end.
Defense is a question a little bit, right?
Defense is a question in the
got
fact of, like,
Vic Beasley, but he's not there.
pass rushers. That's the thing. That's their biggest issue. That's what I worry about with them. You know, they can't even formulate a pass rush with 4 people. It's horrible. And at times it makes them have to do things on the defensive side of the ball I think that they don't want to do because they have to blitz and do things like that just to create some pressure. So, I think that I look at that, and Vic Beasley's a big question mark. I mean, I don't even know where we stand with this right now.
Yeah, he wasn't there, and then he was hurt, and then
He's there, and I think there's still a sense that he might leave, that he's got other things on his radar in life that are concerned, that I've been told. I'm not going to say what they are publicly, but I've been heard he's thinking about doing something else in life. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Now, the other thing with them, which I think gives me the final nudge to say I'm giving it the over. And again, it's 8.5, right?
Yep.
And just the division's too good to where I could see this being a little like it's a lot of 10-6, 9-7 with those top 3 teams. But Broncos, Jaguars, Vikings early on, you know, I mean that's favorable for them. I do.
Yeah.
They got a chance to start out 2-3-0. Yeah, 2 or 3-0 for sure.
So here's a prop for you.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill last year in his 10 starts had 260 yards per game. Does he go over or under that this year? Do they throw more with Ryan Tannehill than they did last year?
I do believe they will. Yes. I think they will throw more with Ryan Tannehill. And I just think, like, again, I don't know if the offensive line will be as dominant. I think with him being in year 2 in the system, not coming in to take over from Mariota in week 6 or whatever it was, right? That'll give them the confidence to you know, open up the attack a little bit more in the pass game.
And I'm excited what he can do with A.J. Brown, too. I think that combination
is
one of the more exciting combinations in all of football, I feel like.
It is. To me, that'll be I'm glad you brought it up. But to me, is the big question is just who's going to be that next guy in the passing offense that shows up?
It was supposed to be Adam Humphries, right? What
Adam
happened there?
Humphries, right? They didn't find that. No, they just never found the niche. And I believe he was banged up a little early in the year last year, too. Corey Davis, who's a top, 5 pick, he's never lived up to that billing. You know, Jonnu Smith is the guy I look at to be watch out for him this year.
Really?
Yeah. It's an offense that I think fits what a good tight end can take advantage of. And Jonnu Smith is like a Delaney Walker. Can block, but I think can be like really scary with the ball and make some things happen there.
Okay, so I'm starting to get worried here, though.
Yeah.
Because you go over Texans, you go over
I don't
Titans.
feel so bad, though, because some of these overs are like,
lower.
7.5, 8 wins.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm picking like the teams to go like 12-4. Every team's 12-4 and 10-6.
But I know you like the Colts, though.
I do.
And so the Colts last year were 7-9.
Yep.
But now they got Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Got a great offensive line.
Yep.
Got Michael Pittman in the draft, the wide receiver. You like him. You like Jonathan Taylor, running back. So they got weapons.
They do. Potential of weapons.
Defense, you got DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
That helps in the front there. Xavier Rhodes from the Vikings. Okay, so they won 7 last year. The over-under this year, a little high, 9.5.
Woo!
I knew this was going to give you trouble.
I'm going over, though. The Colts are I'm picking the Colts to go to the playoffs, just so you know. All right, so let's just get that out of the way in case you wanted to know next week. They're going in the playoffs for me.
If you're going to listen next week, forget that Chris said that. It'll ruin the surprise. Okay. So you think that this is Phillip Rivers goes in there and improves him enough to where
Yes, I do.
defense is improved enough.
Yep, hopefully.
I mean, I liked him last year.
Running
too.
backs, T.Y. Hilton. Hopefully Paris Campbell can stay healthy and show he was worth that second-round pick. I'm extremely excited about him. Michael Pittman Jr., I know he's a beast and tough. Other receivers on their roster who are also very good. There's really, on offense, I have no question. Defense, I only question the secondary. Okay. All right? That's the only area I look at. I think they're going to, great linebacking duo and Darius Leonard and Walker. D-line is deep and versatile as hell. Yeah, corner, secondary, that's a little scary. That's a different conversation. Other than Moore, they don't really have a really quality corner, in my opinion. And the safety play is a little average, too. Now, the thing that makes me feel like somewhat good about it, all right, is their schedule. They're not playing the most high-octane passing attacks early in the year. When you get to start off with the Bears, the Jets, the Vikings, and the Jaguars, I mean, the Vikings are the most high-octane passing attack out of that group right there, and they're not high-octane. So
that's a good early schedule.
Right, it's a very good early schedule.
At Browns, Bengals, man, at Lions, wow.
So I don't know.
That's a great
I look at their
schedule.
matchups, and when I first looked at this and just went, ooh, they fit their team. They're not necessarily teams early on in the schedule that I think are going to be able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses that the Colts do have.
Pete saying if you go by the Vegas win totals, Colts have by far the easiest early schedule.
I've heard that, right? Which that helps when you're a new team.
So you're
kind of getting used to it. So, Dan,
So
did I
you're
go over
over
on everybody in the AFC South except for the Jaguars, right?
Yeah. So I'll go over as well. We're agreeing a lot here, but you're making a good point because Texans was 7.5.
I know.
And then Titans was 8.5. You're like, I think they're going to be, and then Colts 9.5, but we like them. We can see 10 wins easily. And even if, I've brought this up for a couple of teams, the downside risk, right? And if you lose Phillip Rivers, if he gets hurt or tests positive or whatever, you got Jacoby Brissett there.
No doubt.
And he's capable
No
as
doubt.
a backup and can hand the ball off. And so I'll go over as well, which means we have to go under on the Jaguars, right? So Jaguars last year, 6-10. They are getting rid of everybody. We talked about them at length at the top of the pod. 4.5 is the over-under.
See, that's where it's not fair. Because I could go, they're going to be 5-11.
Yeah, and just do another. Well, you can do that if
I
you
know.
think they can win 5. I mean, but they have, defense. They've ripped it apart. Although they signed Joe Schobert, 5 years, $53 million. They go be our defense. We're going to give you that much money because you are the only guy out there.
Him and Miles Jack will be a great combo at linebacker.
It's like Hoosiers, right? My team is on the field. It's like those two guys. That'll just be it.
Those two guys, the two pass rushers, and Henderson at corner. That's it. But there's some young talent to be really excited about.
Okay.
I do.
Do you have to say that, or do you feel that's true?
No, I really do. I mean, Caleb on Chason, I love him.
Like him.
I love
yes.
C.J. Henderson, who they
like
drafted.
them.
I thought C.J. Henderson was more talented than Jeff Okudah, who, I know is limited in practice, but they still haven't said he's going to be a starter there yet. So I just want to be like, well, there's a problem there. Number 3 picks. If they're not starting right now, then I don't know. You might have messed up the number 3 pick. I'm going to go under. I am. I could see them being 5-11. But 4-12 is where I see them at. I do. I'm not sold. There's just too many things I don't know about. Offensive line, there's a little potential. There's a little potential for Gardner Minshew. They got receivers that kind of scare me, but I don't know how good Gardner Minshew is yet. The running back situation, we'll see where that goes. I would expect Raquel Thompson to take over for Leonard Fournette here as we do that. Defensively, the defensive line is going to be a pain in the ass and things like that. I just don't know if there's enough to go around there.
Who do you think is going to take over for Fournette? Chris Thompson?
I was going to say Raquel Thompson. I think Chris Thompson will be like Armstead, excuse me. Yeah.
I was like,
Chris
you
Thompson
cheated.
too.
I was like, you made him one man.
Well, you know how I like to add two things together
I was
there.
like, you cannot be wrong there. You put them both in there.
But I liked Raquel Armstead coming out in the draft a whole lot. And, Chris Thompson's an unbelievable third down, change of pace type back. So, I guess that's about where the defensive line really good, front 7 pretty damn good, but secondary is underwhelming to me.
Problem.
Yeah.
So I'll go under as well because if a team wants to lose, let them, and don't argue with them. And so I think that's ultimately, not that they want to lose, but they don't see any upside in.
I guess
who knows if there's a valuable piece that
Trevor
emerges
Lawrence
the year,
at quarterback. Maybe they wanted.
Right?
That's what a lot of people think is going on here.
But I don't think they're done trading players either. I think
Probably
if there's
not.
A useful player that pops up who another team wants, you'd entertain that offer. Why wouldn't you at this point?
Well, I get that totally. They're running out of players to trade here, but
sure.
but regardless, they're a team that's in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
And I like some of those young guys, but they're not ready for prime time yet.
Final division. So that was tough.
That was
a tough one. This one I think might be. I think this one's going to be difficult too, actually.
Oh, it is.
So we got Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers in the AFC West. We'll start with the Chiefs, 12-4 last year. Basically kept the whole team together, locked them up long term for a lot of their guys: Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Got Matthew on the defensive side, signed through 2021. So this is a team that is built for next year, the year after that. They got stability. 12 wins last year. They are over under 11.5.
Whoa, 11.5. I'm going over. I am. Yeah. You've heard me. I just think this is going to be like the pressure's off, and you're just going to see the Kansas City Chiefs swag, and like they're going to relish this.
But sometimes if you don't have that urgency, you go, oh, and
that's what my dad argues. If you listen to my dad, he would argue like, what's motivating them this year? Well, I don't know. Sometimes great players, they don't always need motivation. Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady didn't need to be motivated for the last 19 years. I get it.
What might motivate him more is that you only get one bye in the playoffs now.
Certainly.
So you have to have that best record.
I don't think there's any more question anymore of like, can we win? Can we win with a young quarterback? It's all got Andy Reid. Can he win a Super Bowl? It's all over. It's all going to be like, just show your ass this year. Hey, we're really good. We got confidence. Let's be tough. And then, when you like, I think the thing is Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to make them better.
Yeah.
McCole Hardman's going to be better this year. Okay. They got the kid Willie Gay Jr. from Mississippi State at linebacker. He adds another dimension to their defense. But don't forget about this, too. Like, during the Super Bowl run, Juan Thornhill, their starting safety, he got hurt. He missed the playoff run. He'll be back. That's great. Breeland Speaks, a second-round pick from 3 years ago. He didn't play much last year. So, Okafor on the defensive side of the ball, defense and linebacker type. He was hurt last year. So I think they have other guys, too, where I look at it and go, wait, they went to the Super Bowl and had some, like, pretty valuable pieces get hurt last year that are, like, almost like free agent signings this year. There you go, whoa, they're back in the mix. So when I look at it like that, tough
schedule. Like we mentioned with Baltimore, you finished with such a great record last year. You're going to get nailed the next year. They got Houston week 1, at Baltimore week 3, New England week 4, at Buffalo week 6, at Tampa week 12, at New Orleans week 15. So there are some.
The first 4 weeks or the first 5, 6, they're legit.
First game is against the Texans on
Sunday Night Football on NBC.
Right. We have to say that.
Well, I also think, listen, that's a tough schedule.
I'll go over 2.
You're going to go over?
I'll go.
You feel like they're going to ride the wave?
I think so. 11.5 doesn't, like 12 wins doesn't seem
crazy.
Like I would be shocked if they were 10-6, right?
That's how I looked at it.
10-6 and you're shocked, then it seems like to get a couple more
wins. We didn't think they were
wins.
that great in the regular season last year, and they went 12-4, right? It wasn't
they didn't have Mahomes for 2.5 games, right?
It wasn't a year that jumped out to us where we were like, oh man, like whoa, they were 2 years ago. The regular season jumped out more than last year. So I'm with you, and I think a very underrated aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs, because I watched the Super Bowl from last year
multiple times. Every time we meet, I was watching the Super Bowl again.
It's hard for me to not watch those things, and then the playoff run, I watched it all again. The one thing I always walk away from Kansas City games going, we don't give them enough credit for this, is their physicality. Because we look at them as this passing, throw it around, all that. But their defense and offensive line are physical. They throw their body around. They match the 49ers' physicality in the last quarter of that Super Bowl. Nobody really did that all year to the 49ers. Wow. So there's a lot to like, I guess.
Prop bet for you. Their offense scored 28.2 points per game last year. That was 5th in the NFL. They were behind Baltimore, San Francisco, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Over/under, will they have 30 points per game? They were 28.2 last year. Will that offense take a step forward? So they will.
Yeah.
So Baltimore was the only team last year to have over 30 points per game. You think Kansas City will be that team?
I do. Yeah. I think with of course we know health and all that, but like I said, with McCole Hardman and Edwards-Helaire, I think Hardman takes that next step. Let's see if Sammy Watkins can stay freaking healthy.
Yeah.
But between that, yes, I think this is going to be next level shit this year.
So the 3 teams behind them in the division are all 3 teams that you got things to like about all 3 of them. And I think you could argue all 3 of them could be a playoff team if everything breaks right for them. We'll start with the Broncos, who were 7-9 last year. They got second year now, Drew Lock, hoping he's the real deal. Got a receiver in Cortland Sutton you really like. Jerry Jeudy they got in the draft. KJ Hamler, a receiver. It's got wheels. You like him. Noah Fant. They got some weapons on offense.
Yeah.
And you got a defense anchored by Von Miller, Justin Simmons. Jarrell Casey comes over now. Bradley Chubb. So you got stars on defense.
Yeah.
7-9 last year. Over/under is 7.5.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
What if I go over/under is 1.1? And then you're like, okay. Oh, yeah, that's easy. Now, I'm going to go first.
Go,
Over.
please do.
I like the Broncos a lot.
I do too.
I'm over. I'm over on them.
I like the Broncos a whole lot too. I think the only thing I worry about with the Broncos at all is just a little bit of like maybe that Cleveland Browns effect from like last year, where it's just like everybody's talking, we're supposed to be great.
That's true.
We're great. You know, we got these receivers now, and all of a sudden we're in the great category.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the only area in which I look at them and just go, ugh.
How's the offensive line protecting Drew Lock?
Yeah.
They did get Graham Glasgow.
Right. Good signing.
That helps.
Yep.
But do they have? He'll need time.
Yeah, they need the left tackle, but he's still got to improve. They lost Jawan James with COVID-19 opt-out. So that's a big question mark. And, yeah, they got Melvin Gordon on the running back position now and all that. And they got one of the best O-line coaches in the game. So, like, I'm really on the fence with this team. I am, because I expect them to be better, no doubt. I could see them being 8-8 or even 9-7 and maybe just making it as a 7th seed or just missing out or something like that. Ooh.
Wow. This one's physically paining you.
It is. It's really a tough one there.
This is tough.
Because I'm also trying to balance schedules in my head here a little bit and be like, does that make sense that if I have that many over and that many under?
Well, I'll say that last year they had the best red zone defense in the NFL. They gave up touchdowns only 39% of the time. You may see that as a positive. You also might see that as a negative, as if that's not repeatable coming into this year. Like they'll probably regress to the mean.
I know, but Bradley Chubb's going to be
back.
It's
a good defense. I know. It's a good defense. Let me
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over.
1,
2, 3,
over. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 overs so far, and 9 overs now, and you have 1, 2,
4 or 5.
5 on.
Okay.
5 unders.
All right.
You're getting close. So the Raiders are going to have to go under here. So you go over on the Broncos. I did too. We got Raiders, so they were just like the Broncos. Were 7-9 last year. This is a put up or shut up year for Chris Simms on Derek Carr. Because you are pumping him up. You're thinking he has more to give. We'll see if he can prove you right this year. Offensively, a lot to like again. Offensive line, we've liked them. Rodney Hudson, Trent Brown, you like them. Weapons with Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, tight end. Henry Ruggs flies.
Yeah.
Bryan Edwards, great receiver out of the draft too. The question is defense for them. They signed 13 players in free agency, so they had 7 wins last year. Over/under is 7.5 this year.
Jeez, 7.5 again, huh? I mean, it's just I feel like every damn one is 7.5, 7.5, 7.5.
For all the teams that are like 8-8 teams, it seems like 7.5.
Yeah, well, it's another like fringe football team here. Right? I think my big thing will be this. I'm going to go under. I am. I'm excited about them. I love Josh Jacobs, the O-line special. I'm rooting for Derek Carr in so many ways. I really am. I think my big thing with them would still be the defense, and that's why I can't do it. I just don't know if there's enough special there quite yet.
So last year they were hard to run on.
Yes.
But they were terrible against the pass.
Right.
And they had the worst interception rate in the NFL last year, which has been a weird problem for them for a long time now.
Yeah.
It's like for whatever reason, the defense is it's not only not been good, it's hurt them. It's really hurt them, and it's been, I think, the main reason why they've gone through this prolonged struggle since they made the playoffs.
I think it's fair. I mean, the big thing is, they can't get a guy that's going to pass rush and create the quarterback to throw the ball too fast, other than Crosby, right? I mean, they were one of those teams I told you about that sounded like they were in the conversation for Yannick Ngakoue for a little bit.
Sure.
Because they realized they need another pass rusher, another difference maker. And then you look at corner, like Okay, yeah. I like Trayvon Mullen when he came out of Clemson, certainly. But, again, I think safety, the secondary itself, Prince Amukamara, okay. I like him, but I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, that's a difference maker. Jonathan Abram coming back from his injury, that's good. Demarius Randall's had a very up and down career. And I guess that's what I look at. When I look at their defense, they've improved it. I just don't think there's difference makers there. I don't. And I think that's ultimately kind of what scares me about them altogether. And pain in the butt for a lot of teams, but I'm going to go under.
I'll go under as well.
Yeah.
Which means that we've agreed now for, I think, the last 8 picks.
The last 8 picks?
Or 9.
Yeah.
That's super boring. That's bad. But how can you? I mean, it's just like, tough division for, you got to pick one of these teams that you don't think is going to be able to pull through. I mean, maybe they will. John Gruden can figure something out on offense, make them that dynamic, and put themselves in favorable situations where they have a lead. And then you just got to try to bend but don't break. And so there are ways that it could happen, but I'm going to go under as well. Final team in the AFC, and it is the Chargers, who were 5-11 last year, although they've been boosted by Ahmed Fareed giving them a top 5 roster in the NFL. So that gives them some confidence.
Yep.
So automatically, since I have done that, I have to go over no matter what the number is, and the number is 7.5, and I will go over. But they were 5-11 last year. It really fell apart last year. And it's weird with the talent they have. Joey Bosa, and you gotta it's just Melvin Ingram, and then you figure how did that Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler on the offensive side with Phillip Rivers, veteran quarterback. The offensive line has been an issue for a while, and so that hurt them. Might still be an issue.
Yeah, we got Bulaga. They traded for Trey Turner, so hopefully that can help. They need one of these other guys that was part of the rotation at tackle last year to kind of come through for them as a football team. The defense, we're going to be without Derwin James, it looks like, for the first part of the year there. But still, there's so much special throughout the defense.
Desmond King, Chris Harris, Casey Hayward Jr.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty damn group, right? Rayshon Jenkins, he plays them. And Nasir Adderley was a second-round pick for them 2 drafts ago at safety. He's a true free safety. So I think he'll be in the mix there this year.
So they have talent, but they have Tyrod as their quarterback.
Right. Have Tyrod as their quarterback, which means to me it's going to be a more conservative offensive approach, let alone, what do we have there? Mike Williams, he's banged up right now too, right, Pete? And Pete, how long do they expect Mike Williams to be out? So those are things that I look at. Now, their schedule early in the year, it's kind of like, I don't look at it either way and feel like, all right, we know the Chiefs are better. All right, but hey, the Panthers, the Bengals, the Buccaneers, okay. I'm not ready to just anoint the Buccaneers better than the Chargers yet. I understand the potential there and all that.
Sure.
But there's some easy wins there to be had for them. The Jets, the Dolphins. I mean, these are teams that, you could certainly sit here and go, no, they're more talented than them. I'm gonna. It's 7.5 again, right?
7.5.
I'm gonna go over. I am.
Okay. You believe in them.
Yeah.
You believe they can.
I don't know if I believe it's a playoff, definite playoff team, but I look at them to be that team where they're in the playoff conversation. Yeah, I do. 2 weeks left, and they might have to win the last 2 games of the year.
Yep. Pete noted that they were 6.5 over-under before I came out with my top 5 rosters podcast. And once I said that,
you
bumped them up a win. I swayed Vegas right there. Just one stat I looked up on the Chargers when I was doing my research on them. They blitzed on just 13% of plays last year, lowest in the league, but had the 5th highest hurries per dropback. So it's a Bosa, and they got to the quarterback without having to blitz last year. I just thought that was interesting.
Joseph's there.
Linval Joseph,
Don't forget Jerry Tillery was their first-round pick from 2 years ago. He's going to be in second year now at Notre Dame, right? So they really got a chance to be a 49er-ish, and it's the same scheme. And Gus Bradley was with me in Tampa and played in Seattle, to where, that's what they're building there. So what did I end up with? 10 overs and 6 unders?
You don't make me go back. It was about, that's right. Pete says that's right. We disagreed on only 4 teams, Patriots, Dolphins, Ravens, and Browns. That's a bummer.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.